You ever have that gut feeling? Like the universe is trying to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, buddy, something ain't right? Yeah. That was me on the night of the Westwood Charity Gala, standing in the middle of a room full of millionaires pretending they actually cared about orphans or sick kids or whatever the hell we were raising money for. I should have been schmoozing with clients, shaking hands, making deals. Instead, I had a gnawing sensation in my stomach that I just couldn't shake. My wife, Emily, was in her element. Dressed in a sleek, deep red gown that clung to her like sin, she moved through the room like she owned it. She always did. Emily had a way of turning heads without even trying. That's what first drew me to her when we met 10 years ago. This intoxicating mix of class and danger, like she belonged in a Bond movie. I never thought she'd actually play me like one. Jack, are you even listening? My business partner, Daniel, nudged me with his elbow, snapping me back to the conversation. Yeah, of course. I lied, swirling my whiskey. Then what do you think of Fairfax's bid? Fairfax? Right. The bastard trying to undercut us in the Reynolds deal. I opened my mouth to answer, but then, laughter. Hers. That laugh. The one she only did when she was really having fun. The one I used to hear late at night when it was just the two of us in bed, wrapped in sheets and whiskey-scented kisses. I turned. Across the room, standing too close to her, was him. Logan fucking Carter. The same Logan Carter who had been sniffing around Emily for months. The same Logan Carter who I knew was bad news. Even if my wife insisted he was just a family friend. Rich, charming. A Wall Street golden boy with the kind of arrogance that came from never hearing the word no. Emily's manicured fingers brushed against his wrist as she whispered something in his ear. He laughed. Low, slow, like they shared a secret no one else in the world knew. A slow burn started in my chest. I'd been in enough high-stakes deals to recognize when someone was playing me. And right now, I felt like the sucker at the poker table. Jack? Daniel asked again. Excuse me? I muttered, setting down my drink. I wasn't about to make a scene, not yet. But something told me I needed to follow her. A few minutes later, the auction started. The lights dimmed slightly, and a hush fell over the room as the auctioneer rattled off items with the speed of a caffeinated horse jockey. I barely heard a word. I was watching Emily. She whispered something to Logan, touching his arm again, and then, just like that, she slipped away. He hesitated for half a second, then followed. Oh hell no. I gave it 10 seconds before I moved. Enough time for them to think they had a head start. Enough time for me to see where they were headed without tipping them off. They weaved through the crowd, out of the ballroom, past the private lounge. My pulse pounded as I followed at a distance. Then Emily glanced over her shoulder, just for a second. Not like she was expecting me, but like she was checking to make sure no one else was watching. She grabbed Logan's hand and led him toward the back exit. Right then and there I knew. I didn't have proof yet. But I didn't need it. I had just enough to set fire to everything. I was a second away from losing them. Emily and Logan slipped through the back exit of the ballroom like a goddamn movie scene. Her in that scandalous red dress, him in a smug-ass tux that probably cost more than my first car. They moved fast, like they knew they didn't have time to waste. Like they had done this before. I didn't hesitate. I followed. The gala was held in the Monarch Hotel, a 5-star palace for the rich and unfaithful. I knew the layout. Hell, I'd stayed here for business trips. The back exit led to a hallway that branched off in 2 directions. Left toward the service corridors, right toward the private suites. They went right. Of course they fucking did. I kept my distance, moving slow, steady, my blood hot but my brain cold.
No sudden moves.
No tipping them off. Not yet. I wanted to see it. Emily always said I had control issues. Maybe she was right. But if she was gonna rip my heart out, I wasn't about to let her do it behind closed doors. Ahead of me, Logan glanced around like some cheap spy in a second-rate thriller, then pulled Emily closer. She was giggling, like some goddamn schoolgirl getting away with passing notes in class. My fists clenched. The corridor was empty. Just the quiet hum of the hotel's overpriced air conditioning. They reached a door, Suite 417. Logan swiped a keycard. Emily went in first. He followed. The door clicked shut behind them. I stopped. Just stood there for a second, staring at the gold numbers on the door, feeling like the floor had just given out beneath me. This was real. Not paranoia. Not overthinking. Not some stupid misunderstanding. My wife, my fucking wife, had just walked into a hotel room with another man while I was 10 goddamn feet away. And she had no idea I was watching. I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. Every rational thought in my head was screaming at me to think, to figure out my next move, to laughter, muffled through the door, but I recognized it instantly. Hers, followed by his. I stepped forward, my body moving before my brain could catch up. My hand hovered over the doorknob. Locked, obviously, but I had options. I could knock, kick the door down, burn this whole fucking hotel to the ground. Instead, I pulled out my phone. There was no way in hell I was going to confront them without proof. I wasn't about to let Emily twist this on me, act like I was crazy. I scrolled to the app one used for work meetings, the one that let me record audio discreetly. Hit start. I slid the phone under the door and waited. 30 seconds passed. Then a minute. I didn't hear anything at first, just soft movements. Maybe some rustling of clothes. Then, a moan. Her moan. I went ice cold. Logan's voice, low and husky. You sure he's not going to notice? Emily, breathless. Jack, please. He's too busy playing businessman to care. Something inside me snapped. I yanked my phone back, heart hammering. Fists clenched so tight my knuckles went white. I could storm in right now. End this right now. But no, that wasn't enough. I needed her to see what she had done. I turned on my camera, positioned my phone just enough under the door for a clear shot, and hit record. This was going to be messy, and I was going to make sure they both fucking choked on it. I should have left. Should have walked away, taken the evidence, and planned my next move like a rational man. But I didn't. I stayed. Because if Emily was going to spit on our marriage, I wanted to be there when it burned. The camera was rolling, my phone steady on the cold marble floor. Through the tiny gap under the door, I had a perfect angle, Logan's tailored pants hitting the floor, Emily's fingers tangled in his shirt as she pulled him close, her lips on his neck, his hands on her, my wife. The rage that hit me wasn't just anger. It was something deeper, something primal. They moved further into the room, out of sight, but the sounds kept coming. Soft gasps, low laughter, the rustle of expensive fabric hitting the floor. I clenched my teeth so hard my jaw ached. Then I heard her voice. The same voice that used to whisper my name late at night. The same voice that promised me forever. God, Logan, I've needed this all night. My vision went red. My hand tightened around my phone. Every muscle in my body coiled tight like a live wire ready to snap. I should have left. Should have let the video speak for itself. But something inside me, something dark, something furious, wouldn't let me. I needed her to see me, to see what she had done, to know that I had been here, listening, watching, witnessing every filthy, traitorous second. I reached for the handle, and twisted. Locked. Of course it was. But lucky for me, I knew this hotel inside and out. Knew that just down the hall, near the service elevators, there was an old housekeeping closet that the staff never bothered to lock. And inside that closet, a master keycard. I left my phone recording and moved fast. 2 minutes later I was back, standing outside Suite 417, holding the key to the kingdom in my hand. This was it. No more doubts. No more waiting. No more giving her the benefit of the doubt. I swiped the keycard. The lock beeped. I pushed the door open, and everything fucking exploded. The door swung open, and for a split second, everything froze. Logan was on top of her, his bare back facing me, his body moving against my wife, Emily. Red dress shoved up to her waist, hands gripping his shoulders, had her head thrown back, lost in the moment. Then she saw me, and the world came crashing the fuck down. Her face twisted in horror, her entire body going stiff like she'd been electrocuted. Jack. Logan jerked his head up, turning just in time to see my fist flying toward his face. Crack. The punch landed hard, sending him sprawling off the bed, his ass hitting the floor with a thud. Emily shrieked. "Oh my God, Jack. What the hell are you?" "Shut the fuck up." My voice didn't even sound like my own. It was raw, guttural, something ripped straight from the pit of my chest. Logan groaned, dazed, a streak of blood running from his nose. "What the fuck, man?" I grabbed him by the collar of his half-unbuttoned dress shirt and yanked him to his feet. "You fucking my wife, Logan?" I snarled. "Huh? That what you do now?" "Jack, please, just listen." Emily scrambled off the bed, clutching the sheets around her body like she had any fucking dignity left. I turned on her so fast she flinched. "Oh, now you want to talk? Now that your dick appointment got interrupted?" Her lips trembled. "It's not. Not what, Emily? Not what it looks like." I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. "Because what it looks like is my wife. My fucking wife. Getting railed by this Wall Street reject while I'm 10 feet away listening to you moan his name." Tears welled up in her eyes, but I wasn't buying that act. Not this time. Logan finally found his balls and shoved me off. "Back the fuck off, Jack. This isn't how." I cut him off with another punch, this time to the gut. He doubled over, wheezing. "You smug piece of shit," I seethed. "You think I didn't see the way you've been looking at her? That I didn't know what you were up to?" I grabbed him by the jaw, forcing him to look at me. "You enjoying yourself? Huh? How's it feel knowing you just pissed away your entire career?" His eyes flickered with panic. "Yeah, that's right." He knew exactly who the fuck I was. I wasn't some random schmuck. I was Jack goddamn Carter, and my name held weight in this city. I had business deals lined up with the same corporate elites who could ruin Logan with a single phone call. And he knew it. Emily stumbled forward, grabbing my arm. "Jack, please, let's talk about this privately." I yanked away. "Oh, now you want privacy? You didn't give a shit about privacy when you were spreading your legs for this asshole in a hotel room I paid for." She flinched. I made a mistake." "Mistake?" My laugh was sharp enough to cut glass. "A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. This is a calculated fucking betrayal." Logan wiped the blood from his nose. "Jack, man, just leave. You've made your point." "Oh, I'm just getting started," I growled, my grip tightening into fists. I could destroy him, destroy them both. But that wasn't enough. I wanted her to feel this. I turned, grabbed my phone off the floor, and tapped the screen. The recording was still going. Emily's face drained of all color. "Jack," I smirked. "Smile, sweetheart, because this is going to be your fucking legacy." She gasped. "No, please." I ignored her, sending the file directly to my cloud. Safe. Untouchable. Then I turned to Logan, still clutching his gut. "By the way," cocked my head, "your wife is gonna love this." His face twisted in horror. "Jack, don't." But I was already walking toward the door. This wasn't over. Not even fucking close. I left them exactly as they deserved. Half-dressed, shaking, and staring at the wreckage I'd just set fire to. The door slammed behind me, but I didn't hear it. My blood was pounding too hard. My thoughts tangled in a mess of rage and adrenaline. The entire hotel felt too fucking small, too suffocating. I needed air before I did something really stupid, like go back in there and finish what I started. I hit the elevator button with more force than necessary, trying to get my breathing under control. My hand was still throbbing from slamming it into Logan's smug fucking face, but I welcomed the pain. Kept me grounded, kept me from spiraling. Because make no mistake, I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. The elevator doors opened, and I stepped inside, ignoring the confused stares of a couple heading up to their suite. I caught my reflection in the mirrored wall. My suit was wrinkled, my tie was loose, and my expression? Pure fucking vengeance. The moment I hit the lobby, I pulled out my phone and scrolled to my contacts. My thumb hovered over one name. Sarah. Logan's wife. Oh yeah, I hadn't forgotten about her. Sweet, classy Sarah. The picture-perfect socialite who'd always played the role of the devoted, doting wife. I wondered how devoted she'd feel after hearing her husband call mine his little secret. I wasn't about to send that video out just yet. No, no, no. That was the nuclear option. And while I fully intended to launch that missile, I wanted them both to squirm first. I typed out a message. Jack. Hey Sarah. We need to talk. It's important. Delivered. I could almost taste the chaos brewing in the air. I turned toward the hotel bar, needing something strong to wash the taste of betrayal from my mouth. Bourbon, neat. It burned on the way down, but not nearly as bad as the realization that my entire marriage had just gone up in flames. And yet, I didn't feel broken. Not yet, anyway. Right now, all I felt was focused. Because this wasn't just about catching my wife cheating. This was about making sure they both fucking paid for it. The bourbon burned as it went down, but it was nothing compared to the fire raging in my chest. I sat at the hotel bar, phone in my hand, waiting, watching. Sarah hadn't responded yet. Typical. She was probably at some fundraiser, sipping champagne, blissfully unaware that her husband was upstairs in Suite 417, balls deep in my wife. But that was about to change. I tapped my fingers against the glass, my knee bouncing with barely restrained fury. Every second that passed felt like another slap to the face. How many times had Emily done this? How many nights had I sat at home like a dumbass while she was off getting fucked by Logan? The thought made my grip tighten around the glass. Then, ding, a text. I looked down. Sarah, Jack? This is unexpected. What's going on? Oh, sweetheart. If only you knew. I took a slow breath, rolling my shoulders, forcing myself to play this smart. If I hit her with the full truth right away, she might shut down, get defensive. I needed her on my side. Jack. I know this is sudden, but it's important. Are you home? Her response came quick. Sarah. No, I'm at a dinner event. Is everything okay? Oh, this dinner was about to get a hell of a lot more interesting. Jack. No, Sarah. It's not okay. It's Logan. I need to see you. Now. I imagined her reading that, brows furrowing, stomach twisting. Good. Let her feel the first drops of the storm before it fucking wrecked her life. A pause. Then, Sarah, you're scaring me. What happened? Jack. Monarch Hotel. Bar. 10 minutes. I'll tell you everything. I finished my drink in one gulp and signaled the bartender for another. Now it was just a waiting game. Emily and Logan were still upstairs, probably scrambling to figure out what the fuck to do next. I hoped Logan's nose was still bleeding. Part of me wanted to go back up there, rip the sheets off that bed, and throw the whole fucking room out the window. But that wasn't how you really ruin people. No, real destruction required patience, precision, and I was about to light the goddamn match. Sarah walked into the bar like she didn't know her whole world was about to fucking implode. She was elegant as always. Black cocktail dress, heels sharp enough to cut throats, her dark hair pinned back like she was attending some high society gala. But her eyes? They were wary, nervous. Good. She spotted me instantly. Walked over. Jack. Her voice was tight, controlled. What the hell is going on? I motioned to the seat across from me. Seat. She hesitated. I could see the gears turning in her head. Logan was a high-profile name, and if I was here looking like this, she knew it had to be bad. Finally, she Saturday talk. I leaned back, studying her. How long have we known each other, Sarah? Her brow furrowed. Jack. Just humor me. I swirled the bourbon in my glass. She sighed. A few years. Since Emily and I started doing charity work together. Right? I nodded. And in all those years, I never once thought I'd be the one sitting here, telling you this. Sarah's fingers curled around the stem of her wine glass. Telling me what? I exhaled slowly. Then I pulled out my phone, tapped the screen, turned it to face her, and hit play. Emily's voice, breathless and filthy, filled the space between us. God, Logan. I've needed this all night. Sarah's entire body went rigid. Logan's voice followed, low and smug. You sure he's not going to notice? Emily's laughter, My wife's fucking laughter cut through the air like a blade. Jack? Please. He's too busy playing businessman to care. Sarah's wine glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the bar floor. The sound barely registered over the blood draining from her face. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Just the ghost of a breath. A choked, broken sound. I tapped the phone again, pausing the recording. Want me to keep going? She looked at me then, really looked at me, like she was seeing me for the first time. Like I wasn't just Jack Carter, husband to Emily, business partner to the man she thought she knew. She swallowed hard. That's not real. I tilted my head.
No?
You think I faked a whole-ass recording of your husband balls deep in mine? Her breath hitched, and just like that, the damn fucking broke. Her hands shot up to her mouth. Her whole body trembled. Oh my God. I nodded slowly, watching the devastation take root. Yeah, sweetheart. Let it sink in. Tears welled in her eyes. She reached for the phone, like she needed to see it for herself. Needed to confirm the worst reality of her life. I can send it to you, I offered. That way you can listen to it over and over. Maybe play it for his family, his coworkers. Your lawyer. Sarah flinched at that last word. Lawyer. I leaned in, voice low. Because that's what's next, isn't it? She blinked. For a moment, she just sat there, silent, processing. Then something changed. The heartbreak on her face didn't fade, but something else flickered behind it. A spark. A slow-burning ember of something darker. I recognized it, because I was feeling the exact same thing. Revenge. She straightened, wiped her tears with a shaky hand, and exhaled. We can ruin them. A slow smirk pulled at my lips. Sarah, I said, my voice dripping with satisfaction. I was counting on it. Sarah wasn't crying anymore. Oh, she looked wrecked. Like someone had taken a sledgehammer to her perfect little life, but the tears had dried. Now her fingers were wrapped tight around her wine glass, her nails pressing into the stem like she wanted to snap it in half. And honestly, that was a good sign, because heartbreak fades. Anger, that sticks around long enough to get shit done. I sipped my bourbon. So, I tilted my head. How do you want to do this? Sarah let out a slow breath, steadying herself. You really think I'm gonna let that son of a bitch get away with this? I smirked. I was hoping you'd say that. She closed her eyes for a second, collecting herself, then looked at me with fire. I want to bury him, Jack. I want him to drown in this. Now that was what I wanted to hear. I leaned forward. Then let's start with the facts. I've got the recording. And I've got the video. Sarah's jaw clenched. Jesus. Oh yeah, I said, swirling my drink. I got it all. Every filthy, treacherous second. She inhaled sharply. Send it to me. I raised a brow. You sure? Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Her eyes darkened. Jack. He deserves worse than me just seeing it. I held her gaze for a moment. Then, without breaking eye contact, I pulled up my phone, selected the file, and hit send. Her phone buzzed on the bar top. She reached for it with shaking hands, her lips pressed into a tight line. She hesitated for just a second, then tapped the screen, and watched. I waited. I watched her. The first thing that changed was her breathing, shallow, sharp, like she couldn't get enough air. Then her fingers twitched. Her throat bobbed. Then, snap. The wine glass in her hand cracked. She shattered it with her own grip. Sarah let out a breath, her whole body trembling. She set the broken glass down carefully, then wiped her palm against a napkin to catch the few drops of blood where the shards had cut her skin. And then she looked at me. No more sadness. No more shock. Just pure, unfiltered rage. I grinned. You ready to destroy them? I asked. Sarah's lips curled into something dangerous. Oh, Jack, she murmured. You have no fucking idea. Sarah and I didn't waste time. By the time we left the bar, we had a plan. A ruthless, beautifully orchestrated plan. It wasn't enough to just catch them. No, we were going to obliterate them. And it started with the leak. Sarah was the first to strike. While Logan was still upstairs, probably trying to scrub the smell of my wife off his skin. She sent the video to his entire board of directors, his investors, his PR team, oh, and just for fun, his parents. Within minutes, Logan fucking Carter went from being a Wall Street golden boy to a viral scandal. Sarah watched her phone, eyes burning as the chaos unfolded. "Oh, look," she said flatly. "He just got put on administrative leave." I smirked. That's corporate speak for, "We're about to ruin your fucking life." But me? I wasn't done with Emily yet. Sarah wanted Logan financially ruined. I wanted Emily socially annihilated. So I went for the nuclear option. Emily's entire circle, our friends, her colleagues, her social media followers, got an exclusive inside look at her extracurricular activities. I dropped the recording in our group chats, sent it to her boss. Oh, and to her mother. Because if I was going to burn our marriage to the ground, I was making damn sure her whole fucking life went up in flames with it. The fallout was immediate. My phone exploded with texts. From Emily. "Emily. Jack, what the fuck is wrong with you? Emily. Delete it now. Emily. Call me." From mutual friends. "David, bro, holy shit. Lisa. Emily's crying on Instagram Live right now. WTF did you do? Tom. Tell me this is fake, man. Please tell me this is fake." Oh, it was real. So real that 15 minutes later, Logan called Sarah in a full-blown panic. I put him on speaker. "Baby?" Logan's voice came through, desperate, shaking. "You have to believe me. This isn't what it looks like." Sarah rolled her eyes. "Oh, really? Because it looks like you just lost your career, your reputation, and me all in one night." "Sarah, please," he begged. "We can fix this, just fix it," she snapped. "Oh, sweetheart. I'm not fixing a damn thing. I'm finishing it." I grinned as she hung up on his pathetic ass. But Emily? She wasn't going down quietly. I barely had a second to enjoy my drink before my phone rang again. "Emily." I sighed and picked up, putting it on speaker for Sarah. "What? Jack?" Emily screamed through the phone. "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're ruining my life." I smirked.
I'm sorry, sweetheart.
I thought I was too busy playing businessman to care. Silence. Then, her voice dropped. Low, desperate. "Jack, I fucked up. But you don't have to do this." "Oh, I really do," I said. "See, I spent years being the loyal, devoted husband while you turned me into a fucking joke. So now," I leaned back, grinning, "I'm turning you into one." Her breath hitched. "Jack, please. We can fix this."
No, Emily.
My voice was cold, unforgiving, final. "We can't." And then, I hung up, because tomorrow was divorce day, and I was taking everything. I woke up the next morning feeling fucking incredible. Emily and Logan? Not so much. The fallout had spread like wildfire. Every single person in our social circle knew what they'd done. Logan's firm had already started distancing themselves from him. His reputation was in freefall. Emily? She was getting roasted alive on every platform she had. Sarah sent me a screenshot of Emily's Instagram comments. "Wow, girl, you really did that to Jack? Trash. Imagine cheating on the guy who built your whole life, LMFAO. Hope Logan was worth it because you just lost everything. Jack's already hotter than Logan, but now he's got revenge daddy energy too." Smiling face with hard eyes. That last one made me chuckle. By noon, I was sitting in my lawyer's office, filing for divorce. Emily had called 27 times by then, sent paragraphs of texts, voice messages, begging, pleading, bargaining. I ignored every single one. Instead, I texted her exactly once. "Jack, the papers will be on your desk by 5. Sign them and maybe I won't take the fucking dog." Her response came immediately. "Emily, you wouldn't." "Jack, watch me. Because let's be real, I didn't even want the dog. But she loved that damn dog more than she ever loved me. And I wanted her to suffer." Meanwhile, Sarah was nailing Logan to the fucking cross. She froze all their joint accounts, canceled his credit cards, called his firm's ethics committee and handed them a folder of every shady deal he'd ever made. By 3 p.m., Logan was out of a job. By 4 p.m., he was locked out of their mansion. And by 5 p.m., Emily had signed the divorce papers. No fight.
No counter-offers.
Just defeat. I got everything. The house. The assets. The cars. I even got our lake house, even though I fucking hated that place, because I knew Emily loved it. And the dog? Yeah, I let her keep the dog. I wasn't a monster. Logan tried to contact Sarah that night. Showed up at her house like an absolute dumbass. Begging for forgiveness. She called the cops. They escorted his pathetic ass off the property. Sarah sent me a video of it happening. I laughed for a full 5 minutes. By the next week, Emily had moved into some shitty condo across town. Logan? He was radio silent, probably crawling into whatever hole disgraced finance brothers disappear into. And me? I was free. Rich. Revenge served on a silver fucking platter. And the best part? I was already getting DMs from women who wanted to help me move on. So yeah, Emily and Logan thought they were getting away with their little affair. Instead, I made sure they lost everything. And I didn't lose a single fucking night of sleep over it.